Good morning, everyone. I'm trying to smile, but inside I'm dying a little bit because today is Judgment Day. I am about to meet a person who is going to try and do some kind of inspection. He's just an HGV mechanic. I'm so nervous, I can literally hardly consolidate my thoughts. So this has been a while coming. I've been having huge issues finding anybody during lockdown who can actually come out and do what needs to be done. I was trying to use another company, but they kind of just delayed everything, and but it's finally happening today. I'm a little bit nervous because it's a new commercials and I don't know them, and I think I always have this thing of when people meet me for the first time and see what I'm trying to do here, I feel I don't know, it's my own kind of anxieties that people are gonna take me for a ride and kind of try and screw me over because I blatantly don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, what can I say? This has been coming for almost a year, and I've been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, and I can't put it off any longer because the storage site where I'm at, the guys need me to move the lorry back by about 4 feet to get another container in, and obviously these kind of trucks, it's not like a car, you can't just roll it back if it's not starting, because the way the air brakes work is that I think the lorry needs to be on, and it needs to be turning over to create a kind of a vacuum or something in the air brakes. So it actually takes 5 minutes for the brakes to start up, and you can't actually drive or move it until they're kind of ready to be moved. And so obviously, because I'm now at the stage where I can't start her, something needs to be done. So I've kind of used this as an opportunity to just finally take the bull by the horns and find out what I'm dealing with, because as I get further along with the conversion as well, I'm looking around at the money that I've already spent, and to be honest, not even so much the money, but because I've done everything on the fucking cheap, just the time that I've invested already, and the amount of work that it's taken to just even get to this stage is so much more than I could ever have contemplated. Okay, that was not good news. That was not good news. So the mechanic came out. As I said previously, it was a different company to the one that I'm kind of familiar with, because I was having issues with actually getting them to come out and look things over. So I went to this new company, and they sent this guy out today, and I will say that I was not impressed by this mechanic either, which is really disappointing, because I feel like the previous company that I was using, the blokes who were doing that were really, really sound, and it was just kind of a communication issue at the office that I was having, whereas with this new company, the communication was really, really good, but unfortunately, when it came to them putting their money where their mouth is, so to speak, and actually sending somebody out, this person this morning turned up and instantly was just the rudest, most horrible person. He didn't want to talk to me, he didn't want to tell me what he was doing, he was just really seemed to rock up and just not want to be there, basically, and not want to bother with something as old as my lorry is, and so he had hardly brought any tools with him, considering that when I rang them and let them know, you know, to arrange him coming out, I let them know that obviously it wasn't starting and that the cab was seized and we couldn't tilt it. He turned up with hardly any tools. He literally turned up with some spanners and some jump start batteries, and obviously like gave the lorry a jump, and it sort of was like trying to tick over, but just like when we had it towed to the new site and where it died, it was wanting to, you know, start going over, but then just making this noise and with smoke and things. And it's really like, it's weird how something inanimate like a lorry can like take on a personality in some way, or like when the noise of it when it wasn't starting, you know, it's like it was almost like physically painful. It's like it was almost like seeing like one of my friends or my family in pain, you know. It was such a terrible noise, and I'm so attached to it, you know. How can I be this attached to an inanimate object? And it just didn't help that he was so shitty about it as well. Like, he just looked at it like it was just this horrible piece of trash, and basically turned around and told me that like he didn't think that there was much they could do, you know. Anyway, he rang his like the boss who I had spoke to on the phone, and basically they were saying that the only way they can find out anything is to get it towed to the garage and put it over the pit and, you know, try and tilt the cab. I'm so angry because I told them that, you know, 3 people previously couldn't tilt it, and I feel like, you know, if a recovery was what was required, then we should have just done that, and I shouldn't have wasted, because this guy really just like looked at me like I was wasting his time. So if it's gonna have to be towed somewhere, because it's gonna need serious work to get the cab tilted. The man who turned up this morning was also like, he was so rough and like just abrupt with it all that he actually broke the tilt cab lever. Like, he just ripped it clean off, and then was saying like it had happened because it was seized. And I'm like, well, up to this point, everyone else who's tilted the cab has not ripped it off while they've been trying to do it, you know. But anyway, he was not like forthcoming in any way with, you know, what might be wrong. But then Tony, the most, I can't say enough good words about him, like the site manager. He's been just so supportive and helpful to me, and he doesn't have to be, you know, he doesn't really like know me, you know. And he came out while this guy was there and was like trying to fight my corner, and it was so nice to have somebody else who, you know, because I told him like that this guy, you know, and like I sort of muttered while the mechanic was doing stuff, I was like, he's not really into this, you know. And Tony just like totally agreed with me and said that he was, you know, like had a really bad attitude. And actually, like in the end, the mechanic and Tony started like Tony tried to get some answers out of him like I'd been trying, and he was just like so not wanting to like even talk about it, that Tony actually like started to get a bit, he was definitely like helping me fight my corner. Basically the only thing I've sort of got out of that interaction is that this person thinks that when about 3 months ago, when I had the lorry towed to the new site, because it was a suspended tow and the engine was turning over, that it was possible that she dumped all her oil while she was being towed. And so by the time that she got to the new site, you know, there was nothing to lubricate the engine, and so now the engine is fucked, basically. If that's the case, then, you know, I don't know at this point. I mean, engine replacement is... I don't know, basically, and no one is going to know until we get her over a pit and we can actually see what's gone on. I've just driven out now to the old, the people who towed me, the old company I used to get the tow. I can't remember whether the man who towed her here, who was a lovely person, but I just need to make sure that that oil was checked, if the oil was low, or if she dumped oil while she was being towed, then that's a really bad situation. And it, you know, if my engine is gone because of that, I don't know where that leaves me. And I find this is the issue, like, I'm having so much, is that because most of the HGV work is commercial, like, there's just no time for little people like me, who just have like a one thing that they need working on, you know. But I need answers, because now that I know that there's a possibility that my engine is done, I'm not going to be sleeping very well. I'll update you when I get back from them. Well, isn't it amazing what difference a good attitude and just being a nice person makes, isn't it? I've just come back from the original people who towed the lorry, who I had all my original dealings with, and I cannot tell you the difference in experience that I've just had compared to this morning with the other company. So it goes to show that, you know, it's really worth, like, if you don't have a good experience with one person or one company, to definitely like try alternate options. So anyway, I drove out there in person because I feel like sometimes I find it's particularly a male thing that you know, especially if you're moving in the kind of labouring, practical life people circles, that a lot of these people interact much better in person. So I thought driving out there would definitely be a better option than ringing on the phone, and I was definitely right. And luckily the really nice lad who towed my truck was there as well, so he was able to like recall everything that happened. And it's their opinion that she hasn't dumped oil, because I would have seen it coming out when I was following him. I definitely saw like dripping, but it looked like water, because you see, like, around the top of the lorry there's guttering which can collect quite a lot of water, especially on like the flat roof, and it just looked like drips that were running down from up there. I didn't see anything slick on the road, you know, it wasn't like stinking of oil or anything like that. So they don't, like I say, I don't know, you know, it's just one person's opinion against another until we get her over the pit. But they seem to think that it's quite unlikely that the engine is fucked, but they think that, you know, it's definitely the best option is to get a tow to them. I think I'm definitely gonna try going with them as like the first thing that I do, just because I got such bad vibes off this kind of other guy this morning. I just walked into the original company that I was going with, and they were just so much kinder and more accommodating, just like a lot better attitude. And particularly the lad who moved my truck, you know, was just like turned to me and he just said, like, don't stress about it, I know how much effort and time and energy you've put into what you've already done, and, you know, even if it's like something really bad, we can get second-hand parts, we know like scrap dealers all over the place, you know, and we can sort something out. Like he just turned to me and he was like, it's not the end, like, don't even think it. So having that reassurance from somebody, especially because he's such a lovely person. It's so funny, isn't it? Like when you do stuff that's out of your comfort zone, other people can really make or break you, you know? Like those experiences that you have interacting with people and like having new experiences can be so awful or so hopeful, you know. I feel so vulnerable because I really feel like, you know, I don't know anything, I don't have any knowledge about this, I'm doing it completely completely blind, and I have to, like, I'm forced to put my trust in other people, which is really hard for me because I'm a control freak. It just really makes a difference when people are kind. So I don't know if you're watching this, Andy, but thank you for being a lovely human being. Still like really stressed out, and I'm still really worried about all the finances and everything, but I really feel like they've kind of got my back and they're interested and they want to help, which is the main thing really. And so I'm just gonna try and chill out for a little bit. I'm gonna buy some donuts and I'm gonna go and see my friend John, who was in the last video, who I met at the storage site, and he's a really lovely person and he's full of really good advice, so I'm probably going to go and most importantly, he makes excellent coffee, so I'm going to go and see him for a bit and try and like, I don't know, reset my mind with lots of caffeine and sugar and good company. So, oh, and I should also probably mention that Andy has said that he's going to give me a call on Friday and we'll arrange the tow from there. Tony, I said that because of like where they've put the containers on the site now, and that's the whole reason why I need to like move the truck, it's going to be really hard to actually get a tow truck in there. So something is gonna have to be done to the brakes of my lorry, something has to be disconnected or something to allow them to roll it back. And then Tony has said that if they can't get the big truck in there, that to tow it, that he'll forklift my lorry out to the front yard and it can be towed from there. So luckily for me, you know, I've been lucky enough to meet people who are of a good sort, and like I've said all the way through this, you know, it's been like a real running theme for me in the past couple of months that I've felt quite alone in this project recently, and some things like cladding the ceiling have been a huge struggle for me to do alone, and so it's just, you know, it's really nice to just feel like there are people who are willing to help, particularly because quite often I feel like I'm just a stupid, as I say, you know, on my Instagram, I'm just a stupid girl who thought that she could do something. And actually I want to say like a huge thank you to, it's like, it sounds so weird because like in some ways I'm quite anti-social media, but I want to say like a huge thank you to the Instagram community, because it's just so amazing to have people who don't know you, like aren't connected with you apart from, you know, on this kind of strange platform, offer so much help and advice and support, and just feel like, I really feel, you know, in some weird way that there's loads of cyber people out there who've kind of got my back. And even when I'm feeling really alone in the project, in like the real world, I always know that, you know, there's always someone on there that I can ask for help. You guys know who you are, so thank you for being there, and, you know, putting up with my misery posts as well, because you see, like, I'm a really pessimistic person, and it has to some extent restored my faith in humanity a little bit being on Instagram. So I'm really thankful that I decided to, you know, try and go on there and join up with people on social media. So yeah, you guys know who you are, but thank you.